Serious efforts to clean up Lake Erie started more than 40 years ago, and phosphorus was at the top of the environmental hit list. Phosphorus has many industrial and household applications, but was most widely used as an ingredient in detergent. In 1970, it was estimated that as much as 20,000 pounds of phosphorus was entering Lake Erie every day, about half of it coming from phosphorus-based detergents. Over the following decades, it was phased out of household and industrial detergents, and Lake Erie largely recovered. By 1980, phosphorus had dropped to target levels. But phosphorus never really disappeared, and by 1995, the algae blooms started coming back, and they were getting worse. In 2011, Lake Erie saw the largest bloom ever recorded. Scientists are still paying attention to phosphorus coming out of pipes at factories and wastewater treatment plants, but now they're paying more attention to what is coming off the land and flowing into rivers and streams.
When we're talking about Lake Erie, a lot of people like to point the finger up at Detroit as a big load of phosphorus. And it's true, there's a significant load that comes from point sources, such as our wastewater treatment. But there's also a smaller portion that is attributed to non-point source pollution. Things like fertilizer applications in suburban communities that gets washed off into the streams and into the storm sewers. And so urban BMPs are primarily trying to reduce the amount of flow that comes off of these urban areas to, in places where there's combined sewer overflow problems, to reduce the amount of combined sewer overflows, and also to reduce or improve the quality of water that is discharged to streams.
But the overwhelming majority of the phosphorus going into Lake Erie in the Western Basin, the Maumee, is coming from agriculture. Well, you know, there's nothing new here. I mean, farmers understand this. They're trying to make a living. They're trying to put as much fertilizer on as they can to grow as much product as they can. I mean, they're economically driven like everyone else. The issue is, how can we actually harmonize their desire to actually make a living with its impacts in the lake, where other people are trying to make a living through fishing and commercial recreational fishing and tourism? How do we balance that, and how do we make sure that farmers can do the right things, the things that they want to do and they know they can do, but stay economically viable?
The other thing is, we all like to eat and we all like cheap food, and so the pressure is on the farmers to produce massive amounts of food at the least expense to us as consumers. And when we go to the supermarket, our first response to increases in food prices is we object. If we understood that is required for the farmers to be able to meet some of the restrictions that may be necessary for us to have a clean lake, then I think perhaps we could work more coherently.